All right, guys, welcome to the Major League Baseball video here today for Thursday, July 28th, 2022. As always, my name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal sports bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. And I have personal plays on that website selling for just $1.99. And if you want to access that personal bet, that $1.99 daily best play, the link for that play is in the description section below. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on my website is I actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and get into some free content. Let's take a look at the Rays squaring off against the O's. That's going to be a 12:35 Eastern first pitch. Now, both teams are minus $110 with the total at 9 runs. Ryan Yarbrough for Tampa Bay, Jordan Lyles for Baltimore. And even though Lyles has run into some problems here this year, he still has 6 wins on the season. And he's actually just 7 strikeouts shy of the century mark. Now, Baltimore's also playing their best baseball at Camden Yards this year. They're 28-20 at home, and they actually rank in the top 10 in fewest runs allowed in their own stadium. Now, they're also squaring off against a Tampa Bay lineup who certainly struggles at the dish. These guys are in the bottom 10 in scoring, and they're also striking out more times a game than most clubs in the American League. Now, pitching-wise, Ryan Yarbrough's been pretty dreadful in limited action. Out of just 43-plus innings, Yarbs is 0-5 with an ERA close to 6. Now, total-wise, Yarbs did see unders recently against the likes of Texas, Toronto, and Seattle. Meanwhile, 5 out of Lyle's last 7 starts fell under the total as well. I'm going to lean toward Baltimore minus $110 and the under 9. Next game, Marlins Reds, 12:35 East. Cincinnati's minus $1.30, totals 9.5. Graham Ashcraft for the Reds, Daniel Castano for Miami. And even though Castano's got just 35 innings of work under his belt, the lefty currently has an ERA in the 3s. Now, the Marlins also won 3 out of their last 6. And they allowed just 7 total runs in those victories. They're also taking on a Reds team here today who wins only 40% of their home games against National League opponents. And they also have Graham Ashcraft on the mound here today, who's got a 1.42 whip and an ERA nearly at 5. Now, total-wise, Cincinnati went 60% to the over in their last 10 outings. I'm going to lean toward Miami plus $110 and the over 9.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Royals Yankees 7:05 East. The New York Yankees are minus 230, totals 8.5. Jameson Taillon for New York. Brady Mass Singer for Kansas City. Now, the Royals are currently on a 2-game skid, and they also dropped 6 out of their last 9. Now, KC also wins just 36% of their road games, and they're in the bottom 10 in hits per contest away from home. They're also taking on the Yankees on the other side of things, who can typically out-hit anybody. These guys are still leading the league in scoring, homers, and OPS. Of course, speaking of home runs, Aaron Judge has 38 jacks on the year, which is a league best. Judge is also in the top 3 in RBI and OPS. And even if for some reason the bats go cold here for New York, they've got Jameson Taillon on the mound here today, who's been very good to say the least. The righty's currently 10-2 on the year with an ERA in the 3s, along with a 1.17 whip. When it comes to the total in this one, the Bombers' last 3 contests at Yankee Stadium did get over the number. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 contests at any location. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Kansas City saw 8 out of their last 10 meetings with the Bronx Bombers get over the line. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the New York Yankees, minus 1.5, and the over 8 and a hook. Next ball game, it is going to be Phillies taking on the Pirates. and that's going to be a 7:05 Eastern start time. Philadelphia is -$2, total 7.5. Zach Wheeler for the Fightins, Zach Thompson for the Buccos. Now, Thompson's just 3-7 on the year for Pittsburgh, along with a 4.64 ERA. Now, the Pirates have also lost their last 3 straight, and they dropped 8 out of their last 10. They're taking on a Phillies team on the other side of things who's actually coming fresh off a series win over Atlanta. They looked really good offensively against the Braves. Like I said, the Philadelphia hit the ball well in that series, and they do currently find themselves in the top 10 in the league in home runs. And of course, when you're talking about homers, you got to mention Kyle Schwarber, who's second in the big leagues with 31 bombs. Meanwhile, Alec Boehm is currently the team's leader in batting average at the plate. The third baseman is hitting nearly 300. And even if this does end up being a low-scoring affair here today, the Phils do have a good one in Zach Wheeler on the bump. The righty's 8-5 with a 2.78 ERA and a 1.04 WHIP. Now, he also has 114 strikeouts in just 106-plus innings. When it comes to the total, the Phils went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 contests. They're also averaging nearly 6.5 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Pirates. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Philadelphia -1.5 and the over 7.5. Next game, Tigers, Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern first pitch. Toronto's -220, totals 9. Yusei Kikuchi for Toronto, Tyler Alexander for Detroit. And even though Alexander's thrown just 33 1/3 this year, he's been able to keep these guys in ball games. He does have a couple of wins during that short time frame I just mentioned, and he also has a 1.29 WHIP. Now, the Tigers are also coming off a series win against the Padres, where they actually took 2 of 3 from San Diego, and they scored a whole bunch of runs in that series. Now, Miggy Cabrera is the team leader in batting average. The old-timers hitting nearly 300 at the plate. Meanwhile, teammate Javi Baez, he is actually the club leader right now in RBI. Now, they're taking on a Toronto team on the other side of things who lost by 5 runs yesterday to a St. Louis club who played without their 2-star players. They weren't even in the country. Now, the Jays also have had a tough time cashing in on the run line at home. Out of these guys, 51 games at Rogers Center, they covered the 1.5 just 39% of the time. They also have Yusei Kikuchi on the mound here today, who's actually given these guys a little chance to win this year. I know he's had some good years, but as far as this season, these guys really have not been competitive when he's on the bump. Now, the Cooch man, he's just 3-5 on the year with an ERA well in the 4s, and equally as bad, the Cooch man is shamefully boasting a WHIP of 1.57. Definitely having some control issues. Now, total-wise, 9 out of Toronto's last 10 meetings with the Tigers did fall under the number. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. And as a matter of fact, Toronto actually averaged less than 3.4 runs a game during that 10-game span. Meanwhile, for Detroit on the other side of things, Tyler Alexander, he saw his last 4 straight starts fall under the total as well. I'm going to lean toward Detroit +1.5 in the under 9. Next ball game, Guardians, Red Sox, 7:10 Eastern first pitch. Cleveland's -$120, totals 9. Tristan McKenzie for Cleveland, Cutter Crawford for Boston. Now, the Cutman's had a rough go of things here this season. He's just 2-3 along with a 4.50 ERA. The Bo Sox have also been awful over the past month or so. Not only did they lose 8 out of their last 10, they've won only 2 games since July 10th. Now, they're taking on a Cleveland squad who won 7 out of their last 10 themselves. And that includes a couple of wins over the Bo Sox during that span. As a matter of fact, during Cleveland's last 7 victories, they averaged nearly 7.5 runs a game during that stretch. Andres Jimenez is he's hitting an even 300 at the plate. He's actually the club leader in that batting average category. Meanwhile, Jose Ramirez, he has a team best 79 runs batted in, which actually ranks third in the bigs. And even if these guys can't get it going with the bats, Tristan McKenzie's still throwing gas. He's got 100 strikeouts on the season, along with a .98 whip. Now, total-wise, 6 out of Cleveland's last 7 road games got over the number. Meanwhile, Boston, on the other side of things, they went 80% to the over in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward Cleveland, -120, and the over 9. Next contest, little AL West action. I'm talking about the Mariners squaring off against the Astros, 8:10 Eastern first pitch. Houston's -1.40 at home, totals 8 runs. Jose Urquidy for Houston, Logan Gilbert for Seattle. And even though Gilbert's had some really good outings this season, the Mariners have lost 3 out of their last 6 road games. And when it comes to hitting the baseball, well, I wouldn't quite say this is one of the stronger lineups in baseball right now. These guys are currently in the bottom 10 in scoring. And in addition to that, Seattle's batting only .236 at the plate as a team. Now, they're also facing the Urkman, Jose Urquidy, who's 9-4 in the year for Houston, with an ERA in the 3s. Now, the Stros are also winning nearly 70% of their contests at Minute Maid Park this year. So I'll tell you what. If they were caught once cheating before, they're probably cheating again. I don't care because I'm backing them. Cheat all you want. I don't care. But if you were caught cheating before, you're always going to be a cheater. They probably found some other way to get a competitive advantage. But even if they didn't, hey, we're backing them. They've been cashing. And, of course, Yordan Alvarez, he's hitting .309 at the plate, along with 29 homers and 67 RBI. And most important, guys, Alvarez is currently the league leader with a 1.087 OPS. He's an analytics dream right there. And, of course, no real surprise here. The Astros are currently amongst the best in the American League in OPS at the dish. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Houston's last 4 home games did fall under the number, oddly enough. Meanwhile, Seattle went 60% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward Houston, -140, and the under 8. Next ballgame, Dodgers, Rockies, 8:40 Eastern first pitch. The LA Dodgers are -210, totals 12. Tyler Anderson for Los Angeles, Jose Urena for Colorado. And even though Urena's got a really good ERA, the righties garnered just 1 win this year and has a 1.38 whip. Now, the Rockies have also lost 5 out of their last 7, and they're allowing more hits per game than any other pitching staff in baseball. And, of course, they're going up against a Dodger lineup who does nothing but hit. They're in the top 3 in OPS, and they're actually atop the National League right now in runs per game. Trey Turner is leading the organization with 69 runs batted in. Mookie Betts is also 10th in the league with 23 homers. Now, LA also has one of the best pitchers in the National League on the hill tonight in Tyler Anderson. The lefty's 10-1 on the year with an ERA of .279. When it comes to the total, Anderson did see overs against the likes of San Diego, Cincinnati, and Chicago, the White Sox. Meanwhile, Colorado's gone 11-8 to the over in their divisional home games. I'm going to lean toward the LA Dodgers -1.5 and the over 12. Next game, Rangers, Angels, 9:38 Eastern first pitch. The LA Angels are -230, total 7.5. Shohei Ohtani for the Angels, Spencer Howard for Texas. And despite how rotten Howard's been this season, the Rangers have actually done a real nice job cashing in on the run line this year. These guys are 31-19 against the number on the road, and that's good for 62% in that category. They also have Corey Seager, who's 10th in the majors in home runs. The shortstop currently has 23 bombs on the year. Now, they're taking on an Angels team who lost 6 out of their last 9. They find themselves playing without Mike Trout. And that certainly will not help matters because this Angel lineup already strikes out more times a game than any other team in the majors. Now, when it comes to the number, These teams' last 10 straight meetings with each other all got over the number. As a matter of fact, the Rangers averaged over 6 runs a game in those very contests I just mentioned. I'm going to lean toward Texas plus 1.5. And the over 7.5. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Cubs-Giants, and that's going to be a 9:45 Eastern first pitch. San Francisco's the $1.40 favorite, totals 8 runs. Alex Wood for the Giants, Justin Steele for Chicago. Now, Steele's just 4-6 on the season with an ERA in the 4s. He's also walked over 40 batters this year and has a whip of 1.42. And even if Steele throws a good one here today, this Cubbies lineup strikes out just way too many times at the plate. They're actually in the bottom 10 in the league in strikeouts per 9. They're also taking on Alex Wood here today, who has no problem punching batters out himself. The lefty's got 96 strikeouts in just 94 innings. Now, Wood's also got himself a whip of just 1.26. Now, in these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings with each other, the Giants averaged nearly 6.5 runs a game. They've done a pretty good job, putting runners across the plate. And as far as this year's concerned, they're currently in the top 5 in the majors right now in scoring on average per contest. Now, total-wise, San Fran went 60% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, Justin Steele on the other side for Chicago went 8-3 to the over in his last 11 starts as well. I'm going to lean towards San Francisco minus 140 and the over 8 runs. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where I have packages on that website starting at just $1.99. I like Baltimore minus $1.10 under 9 runs. Give me Miami plus $1.10 over 9.5. I like the Yankees minus 1.5 over 8.5. Give me Philadelphia minus 1.5 over 7.5 runs. Give me Detroit plus 1.5 under 9. I like Cleveland minus $1.20 over 9 runs. Give me Houston minus 140 under 8. I like the Dodgers minus 1.5 over 12. Give me Texas plus 1.5 over 7.5 runs. And with my next and final free pick for the video, I'm going to lean toward the Giants minus 140 in the over 8. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. If you do end up getting a membership here today, just keep in mind you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, if you want to get access to every single bet, every single package, every single day, you're going to want to sign up for my board member package. It's an all-inclusive membership. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.